Hey guys.
Very disturbing to hear these things or to kind of see some of the receipts that appear to be connected to it. And I think the taxpayers really deserve better.
Brace yourself for the most unpredictable political showdown you've ever seen. Tiffany Henyard, the self-proclaimed super mayor of Dunn, Illinois, is fighting for re-election, and it's nothing short of a spectacle. Imagine reality TV colliding with a high-stakes political thriller, where every twist is wilder than the last her approval rating, free-falling into the single digits, the FBI, investigating, an eviction lawsuit, looming, her once loyal constituents, turning against her in droves, yet somehow, against all odds, she's convinced she can still win. This isn't just an election, it's a desperate, high-speed battle for survival. And trust me, you won't want to miss a second.
Tiffany Henyard actually has 2 political jobs on 2 public payrolls. As mayor of South Suburban Dalton, or as she called
Henyard's campaign is nothing short of a chaotic spectacle, a fusion of political chess moves and downright theatrical antics. One of the most notorious examples, the annual Thanksgiving turkey handouts. Supporters hailed it as a charitable act, a leader giving back to the community. But critics? They saw right through the performance, calling it a calculated distraction from the township's deepening financial crisis. And then there's the real twist. Why the sudden urgency to pack the meeting hall? Christopher Gonzalez has repeatedly exposed Henyard's tactical maneuvers, highlighting his attempts to push critical decisions through in the absence of a proper quorum. The turkey giveaway? Just another act in the grand play of political showmanship.
Like a misspending of tax funds. I think that's the biggest, that's the big.
Under Henyard's watch, winter became a nightmare for Dalton residents. As snow piled up and icy roads turned the town into a hazard zone, she seemed more preoccupied with curating her social media presence than tackling the unfolding disaster. This wasn't just mismanagement, it was a reckless abandonment of duty. Families, seniors, and daily commuters were left stranded, forced to navigate treacherous streets on their own. The message was clear: survival was their problem, not hers.
Investigations from federal entities. Those entities, as we know, can take anywhere from 2 months to 5 years. We feel this option.
Under Henyard's leadership, snow removal was a disaster. Dalton residents were left to navigate icy streets while she appeared more engaged with social media than tackling the crisis. This wasn't just incompetence. It was a clear disregard for public safety, forcing citizens to fend for themselves in hazardous conditions.
The board do not show up. We are not able to pay bills. We are not able to handle.
Henyard's relationships with local churches and businesses have crumbled, leaving a trail of frustration and resentment. Business owners accuse her of stonewalling permit approvals and making it nearly impossible to obtain licenses. Lawrence Gardner, a trucking company owner, even alleged that his business was shut down after he refused to make a hefty donation to Henyard's campaign. He likened her to Nino Brown, the notorious drug lord from New Jack City, calling her leadership a form of political extortion. This isn't just poor governance, it's outright coercion. Public outrage is reaching its peak. Residents of Dunn are exhausted by the endless scandals, financial mismanagement, and sheer neglect that have defined Henyard's time in office. "This is a disgrace," one furious resident shouted during a tense public meeting, echoing the anger of many. They're not just unhappy, they're outraged. "She's drunk on power and doesn't care how much she drains this community," another resident lamented, summing up the growing sense of betrayal. Henyard's grip on power is slipping, but she appears willing to do whatever it takes to hold on, no matter the cost.
To your scheduled board meetings. I don't care if you agree or disagree, but you must show up to say yes or no.
FBI investigation, the elephant in the room that looms over Henyard's re-election campaign. Federal agents have issued subpoenas for financial records tied to Dalton and Thornton Township, uncovering a web of alleged corruption, from misuse of taxpayer funds to suspicious contracts. Henyard has fiercely denied any wrongdoing, but the investigation presses on, casting a long shadow over her political future. This isn't just a fight for another term, it's a battle to escape potential criminal charges. Dalton has become a case study in political chaos, financial mismanagement, and growing public outrage. Henyard's desperate bid for re-election isn't about serving the people. It's about holding on to power and dodging accountability. Meanwhile, the residents of Dalton, tired of scandals, broken promises, and a crumbling local government, are demanding real change. As one YouTube commenter put it, the key is for residents to get out and vote. Henyard's last victory was razor-thin, won by only a few hundred votes. A strong voter turnout could easily turn the tide against her. But this controversy goes beyond one election. Another commenter pointed to a deeper issue. This is an embarrassment for Illinois election officials. How was this allowed to happen? It speaks to a system that let Henyard rise to power and stay there despite glaring red flags. The real question isn't just whether she will win, it's how things were allowed to spiral this far in the first place.
To use the term stopping the meeting, we just want to get some responsible adults, communication and try to do the right thing by.
With legal troubles piling up, financial struggles deepening, and public dissatisfaction at an all-time high, Hen's chances of re-election are fading fast. Her desperate blame-shifting, unorthodox campaign strategies and dismissive attitude toward voter concerns have only intensified the backlash. This isn't just another election, it's a reckoning on her entire tenure, and the consequences couldn't be more significant. Let's not ignore the eviction lawsuit looming over Henyard and her boyfriend, Cale Woods, for unpaid rent. Their landlord, Janetta Ho, a former friend of Henyard's, has described the situation as being caught between a rock and a hard place. But this isn't just a minor legal dispute. It speaks volumes about Henyard's pattern of evading responsibility. Her leadership, often criticized as reckless and self-serving, has been marred by financial scandals and public outrage. Beyond the money troubles, multiple sources describe her governing style as autocratic and confrontational. Reports suggest she has used law enforcement to suppress opposition, with Dalton trustee Kate Belcher even claiming that former police chief Robert Collins admitted Henyard directed him to target specific individuals. This paints a disturbing picture of a mayor more concerned with holding on to power than serving her community. Further fueling public frustration is her taxpayer-funded security detail, which has reportedly cost over $1 million. An extraordinary expense for a small town already struggling financially. With controversy mounting, calls for change continue to grow louder. 9. The irony of Henyard's situation is impossible to overlook. She projects the image of a strong, competent leader, yet her actions steadily erode her credibility. Extravagant spending, dubious contracts, and mounting legal troubles paint a picture of a mayor increasingly out of touch with the struggles of everyday Dalton residents. The hypocrisy is glaring. She's campaigning for re-election while simultaneously facing eviction over unpaid rent. This stark contrast between her self-styled image as a formidable leader and the reality of a mayor unable to manage her own finances, let alone the town's, has shattered any lingering public trust. The growing disconnect between her public persona and private struggles has inflicted lasting damage on her reputation. Recent court rulings have only reinforced her waning authority. A Cook County court recently overturned her appointment of Michael Smith as executive assistant to the special counsel, not just a minor setback, but a major blow to her already fragile hold on power. It's a clear sign that her decisions are under increasing scrutiny, not just from the public, but from the legal system itself, further chipping away at her influence. 10. The recent cancellation of Thornton Township meetings due to trustee absences speaks volumes about the actions of trustees Gonzalez and Carlisle. Their deliberate efforts to block Henyard from reaching a quorum reveal not only a deep-seated distrust, but also a coordinated attempt to stifle her progress. By delaying decisions until the deadline for Henyard to appoint a replacement for the vacant trustee seat, they strategically undermine her influence and authority. The consistent inability to form a quorum underscores the significant divisions and fractured trust within the township board, further exposing the instability of leadership under Henyard's governance.